the whole purpose of coming out tonight, Thanksgiving Eve, is because of what we're going to experience tomorrow. And some of you, it doesn't even stop there. It goes into the mad shopping dash. And even if you're not in the shopping dash, was it Black Friday, if you leave the house, you're going to be caught up in it. And the holidays bring about a stressful time for some people. And we're going to be blessed this coming Sunday. Actually, on Sunday, Josh is going to give a message. And then the following Sunday, we're going to get into our Star Wars themed series and the dark side of Christmas. And the idea behind that is so many of the things that we struggle with through the holidays. These are supposed to be joyous times. I mean, Thanksgiving, it's in the title, right? But we walk into these holidays with this stress, almost with a trepidation, because we've got to run to this house, we've got to run to that house, have this meal, try to save room, have this meal. You guys suppose eat till we really don't like ourselves. But it brings about a lot of negative things. And then there are those people that are struggling because of memories that they might have that they're dragging along with them, not only day to day, but into those holidays, and really clouding what those holidays are supposed to stand for. We are the first country in the world to make a holiday for just giving thanks. We're the first nation in the world that actually made this holiday to just give thanks. And so what we're talking about is Thanksgiving, but I want to talk about thankfulness. And so I want to ask you some questions about thankfulness. Is thankfulness something you feel or something you do? I'm getting an eyeball from my dad over there. In the Old Testament, God had His people purpose into their lives thankfulness because it wasn't natural to them. It didn't come naturally to them, and nor does it come naturally to you and I. And we see that play out when God brought the Israelites out of slavery. They complained about it, and they even complained about the food that literally fell from heaven. My porridge is too cold. I don't know, something like that. But shouldn't it make sense that the receivers of mercy ought to be the giver of things? And so I'm going to ask you hypothetically, if after you leave tonight, you get pulled over for speeding, not that any of you would. I mean, clearly. I mean, we've got the A crowd here, right? Hypothetically, you get pulled over for speeding, and you actually deserve this ticket. And the officer doesn't give you one. He lets you go. Would you be thankful? You're thankful. You leave the scene. A mile down the road, you end up in traffic or somebody cuts you off. Does your thankfulness wear off? And now this idea is it something we feel or something we need to be purposeful about? Should thankfulness be something that we fall into like a hole so that it's harder to come out of? Or should it be something that we do intentionally, like getting dressed? Because on the laziest of days, you still need to do it. Some of you are arguing with me. You're going to push the line on that. And I can't wait to see what happens Sunday morning. God has blessed you. Can you be thankful when He gives? Can you be thankful when He takes it away? Can you be thankful in the hospital? Can you be thankful in the unemployment line? Can you be thankful at the gravesite? Sometimes your circumstances are terrific, and sometimes they really stink. But if you're asked to be thankful even when things are bad, is that so crazy? Thanksgiving is about, I'm going to put it into these 5 things, and I tried to put this together. Number 1, honesty. You need to have a healthy, honest memory. If we're talking about being thankful, you need first a healthy, honest memory. And you need humility. You need to get over yourself and get yourself off of the center stage. Embrace the freedom of self-forgetfulness. And not think less of yourself, but think about yourself less. Now, did you catch that? Not think less of yourself, but think about yourself less. Appreciation. You need to appreciate the smallest of things. Every time that you remember a success, celebrate it. Every time that you are shown a failure, face it, deal with it, and get over it. And have that self-examination, sifting and straining out the poison on a regular basis. Just like when you pull that loaf of bread out of the drawer or the fridge, and you've got that little mold spot staring at you. Well, and she said she just picks it off. But you need to remove that decay, or what? It's going to overwhelm and take over the entire loaf until it's useless. But isn't that the same in our lives? When we have that spot of mold, when we have that spot of decay, and we leave it go, maybe leave it for tomorrow or next year's New Year's resolution. How long before that little spot starts to consume us? How long before it changes our attitude? How long is it before it changes our personality? How long is it before it infects your relationships? In Philippians 4:8, it says, "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is of good repute, if there is any excellence, if anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things." And finally, the 5th thing is contentment. Do not focus on what you don't have. And don't let anyone else steal your joy. Anybody watch the Charlie Brown Christmas? Charlie Brown Thanksgiving? I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, at least a few people. Seriously? It's like a classic. It's a staple in our house. At one point, Peppermint Patty is over at Charlie Brown's house, and all she can do is say, "Hey, Chuck, where's the turkey? Hey, Chuck, where's the Thanksgiving stuffing? Hey, Chuck, where's the pie?" Stealing the joy from Charlie Brown. Do not be a Peppermint Patty. I challenge you to be in the mindset of Philippians 4:12. Philippians 4:12 says, "I know how to get along with humble means. I also know how to live in prosperity. If any and every circumstance I have learned the secret of being filled and going hungry, both to abound and to suffer need." There are more important things to focus our lives on. And tomorrow, when we get together with our families, and sometimes you may even get together with relatives that you don't have strong relationships with. Is that a polite way to put it? I've got a few, and thankfully there are not any in this side of the family that's here today. I can say that confidently. But Regina and I have talked about some of the cousins that I have that we're contemplating going and visiting tomorrow. And it's normally not a good experience. But we don't want to focus on ourselves. We want to focus on what type of light we can bring into this dark world. I was telling Regina the other day, sharing a thought that I have, and it may come up again in the near future as I develop this idea. But I was thinking about, why is it so hard? All of these simple things, all of this positive attitude, all of this working together and uniting, just in general, not in our church, in community, in the world. Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard for people to get over themselves and just do the right thing? And I remember some of the struggles that I've had, and I actually, some of them make me wince. I can't believe I did that. And when I wince and I open my eyes, it feels kind of surreal, and I started thinking about that, and I thought about, what if someone were asleep for 8 hours? And their eyes are completely adjusted to the dark. And suddenly somebody comes in and flips the lights on. What is your reaction? Your initial reaction is probably not a good one. Because that initial shot of light is disturbing. It's scary. It's startling. But yet when we walk through in Christendom as Christians, as we're trying to spread the good news, as we're trying to show forgiveness for people, just as God has shown forgiveness to us, as we're trying to be, again, loving of people, often when we share that news, we share it in such a way that it's like that bright light, like somebody flipped the switch on people that have been very comfortable in the dark. And we wonder why their initial reaction isn't what we would think it would be. We're just trying to share, and suddenly they feel put off by us. Do you see that the correlation? The world is by and large controlled by the enemy, and it is a dark, dark place. And we need to find better ways to not only turn on the light, but not blind people in the process. And my dad, when I was growing up, he would actually come in and throw a 5-gallon bucket of water on me if I didn't get up. And I told Regina, it's no wonder that at this point in my life, when my Heavenly Father tells me to do something, I jump to it. Because I don't want that 5-gallon bucket of water flying at me. So as we go into this holiday weekend that's just going to start off a whole new season, let's start it off right. Let's start it off thankful. Let's start it off grateful for all the things we have and the relationships that we've been able to nurture and build. Let's be grateful for the experiences that God is still going to be bringing us each and every day, that we have no clue what's coming. Let's purpose in our lives that thankful attitude, so that nobody can steal that joy.